Hey everybody, it's Tony George along with my good buddy Scott Spreitzer. We're talking marquee matchup, NFL style. Be sure and click the link in the description below. Come over to Doc's and get yourself a free $60. He's kicking butt in the NFL. I'm not.
He's kicking butt in college.
Yeah.
I got my butt kicked last week in college.
Yeah, so Saturday here, I'm Mr. Saturday, he's Mr. Sunday. That's never going to work. The marquee matchup this week is the Carolina Panthers against the Green Bay Packers off an embarrassing loss in Carson, California against the Chargers. Packers 4.5, total 47 right now as we tape this. I'm sure this line's going to change. It was announced here on Tuesday that Cam Newton is on IR. His season is over. Kyle Allen is the man. And why not? He's only had one bad performance for Carolina. McCaffrey, obviously a strong MVP candidate, one of the best offensive players in the league. Packers had trouble last week in almost every category. If you look at the stats for the game, it'd scare the hell out of you. By the way, I had the Packers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't see that coming. Scott, your thoughts on how Green Bay is going to react to this loss? Obviously, they said it was a slice of humble pie, and it was good for them, according that was Aaron Rodgers' narrative after the game. But at the end of the day here, Panthers bringing in a pretty formidable defense. Yep. They're bringing in an offense that is clicking with a good tight end, a good running back.
Best running back in football.
Yep, best running back in football, you could argue, and a lot of balance and some confidence. And Packers here in serious, we got to get our act together mode.
I'm also, we're talking about Carolina, the good parts. Christian McCaffrey, the play of the quarterback since Cam Newton's been out. The usage of the tight end in this offense, which they've done for years with Cam Newton at quarterback also, and Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
I think a guy who flies under the radar every single season. And it's funny because at some point of every season you hear he's on the hot seat, Ron Rivera, yet he just gets the job done year in, year out with this Carolina Panthers football team. As far as Green Bay is concerned, they were in a bad spot last week. By the way, a little off the topic here for just a second. About 80% of that crowd was Green Bay, Cheeseheads. In LA, they're playing at that soccer stadium.
Right.
There was an announcement on Tuesday morning, I forget what show it was, national show, talking about the Chargers being mentioned to be moved to London, England.
I commented on this on Facebook. I said, well, first of all, the owner's an idiot. He never should have screwed up what he had in San Diego. Yeah. You alienated your fan base. Second of all, being a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I'm not sending my team to London every year to play an AFC West game, and that's detrimental to every team in the AFC West. But I have no bitterness.
We start traveling at the speed of light. We'll move the team to London. Until then, let's keep them in the continental U.S.
Right.
But the bottom line is that stadium is just a joke. But,
it is.
Not the stadium itself, but the fact that they can't get any fans in there and nobody supports the Chargers.
And a rare home win.
And you know what?
It was a rare home win for the Chargers.
And hats off to San Diego, the actual San Diego Charger fans of old, now the LA Chargers. They aren't traveling. They said, heck with this. You screwed us over. Yep. We're not showing up and supporting the Bolts, and they haven't. So hats off to them. I feel bad for the team and the players. Listen, as far as this game is concerned, the Panthers and the Packers, you look at McCaffrey. He runs for $150 last week. The thing about Green Bay, I got lambasted by a couple of Twitter followers a few weeks ago. They won that game against Chicago opening week 10-3. Does that really mean anything to you now that Chicago's offense did nothing against the Green Bay defense? And I'd said a couple of weeks after that I thought this Green Bay defense was overvalued. They're not bad, but they're not as good as they were being hyped. When Aaron Rodgers said after the Chicago game, we got a defense. He said that 2 or 3 times. I'm like, you just played against a horrible offense with poor play calling. And now that's come to fruition. You've seen it. As far as this defense is concerned, they have their problems against decent running games. You got McCaffrey running at you, Tony.
Yeah.
That's a scary proposition. Now, I know I'm still a big Aaron Rodgers fan, obviously.
Yeah.
Love the guy. And then Aaron Jones, his running back, is right there almost at the level of McCaffrey already. But what they can do with McCaffrey out of the backfield in the passing game, being able to run the football, getting the ball to the tight end, taking the pressure off the quarterback, that's going to be tough to overcome. And listen, I got a note before I throw it to Tony to take his stab at this and wrap things up. The Packers have allowed 34, 24, 22, 24, 24, and 26 points the last 6 weeks. I'm not a big fan of the defense. We'll see. Better spot, obviously, this week for Green Bay. than last week going out to LA to take on the Chargers.
Right, and Allen's come up not only with McCaffrey, but he's also come up with DJ Moore at wide receiver.
Absolutely, good point.
Who's absolutely forming a lot of chemistry with Allen here. And Jones, while he's looked great at running back for Green Bay, he hasn't met Mr. Kuechly. He hasn't met Mr. Davis yet. Two of the best defensive linebacker tandem in the NFL. I think here Green Bay is going to struggle to win this game, Scott. I wouldn't be surprised to see some scoring in this game, however. Sure. I think the 47 might be worth taking a look at, the over if it stays there. But I'd be willing to take the points there. I wouldn't be willing to lay them right now. I think Carolina is a good football team. The other thing to bear in mind, you talked about Ron Rivera. Mm-hmm. His last 30 road games, he's covered 67% of them against the spread. So for Scott Spicer and Tony George, we're kind of thinking, I'm kind of thinking Carolina, maybe a little bit of a score fest here. But it's going to be a great football game. Be sure and tune in. You want to tune into some winners? This guy's picking them in the NFL this Sunday.
76-51 is that current NFL run.
There you go.
We had a great Saturday 2 weeks ago, not this last week.
Yeah.
But I do like the card. And he's been red hot on Saturdays. Don't miss his college.
DocSports.com, that's where you need to be, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Marquee Matchup.